I hit a wall in red ranks with Lidia today. I think I'm getting to a point where everyone is way better than me, and I can't seem to close the gap. Not sure what I need to do to train at that level. You know what? This would be a good time for an intermission so we can talk about it. A lot of the time at those ranks, the best thing you can do is learn more defense. So go to like online replay. Let's just watch a random red rank game. Because there are a lot of people out here that watch that, like, are hovering around red rank, one above, one below. So let's find Lidia and Jack, 2 red ranks. So if we focus on the Lidia player, what we're going to look at is when they're hitting buttons and when they should not be hitting buttons. Obviously, I haven't watched this game, but generally at these ranks, that's what's going to be the problem. So we see that Lidia here is -4. Jack does down back 2. Yeah, it's down back 2. So 22 frame low. The Lidia, I don't know what the hell Lydia's got going on over here, but she jabs, right? So if I block this and I just wait, I can block that, right? And it's -18. Even if I get hit by it, like, this is the thing. People say, oh, but lows, I'm scared of lows. There's no reason to worry about lows. But it's doing a little bit of damage. Yeah, you're -3, but you're also playing against Jack. You can down jab, right? Work out here, running with forward 2, stuff like that. That's gonna be a good option. But jabbing here, it's just, the idea is to stop Jack from doing something, but you open up so many more options for Jack, right? And then here, you know, you got, you can rewind correctly. So she does running 1 and then tries doing down 3, which would have worked, but she's out of range. If she did this instead, this is why running 3 is so good, that option would have worked because you would have been in range. But running 1 has so much pushback that you can't do anything. So if you're going to do a running move in that situation, you want to follow it up with a counter hit tool, which I think is a really good idea. Do running 3. Or even if you do running 1, let's see options that can work here. Yeah, you don't have really anything that work here. You could run up, do down 2. Then this is one of the strengths of down 2, is if you're plus here and the opponent delays their attack, then running up, down 2 is going to counter hit and give you heat engager. It's one of the biggest strengths of the move. Just forward 3. That's not a good idea though, because forward, oh god. Because forward 3 is -14. The move kinda sucks. Also, look here, it's so slow that even if I'm doing it at the perfect timing, it's not going to actually go through the armor. So like, while the idea here is good, it's not, you're using the wrong move for it. But look, here's this, and then what if we just block, right? If we think that Jack's gonna do something at this range and just block, now look. That's 82 damage. That's doing a lot more than your counter hit low would do. So if you're afraid that the Jack is gonna do something, and that's the reason why you would probably be doing down 3, just hang back, play neutral, and whiff punish him for doing this. Right? So now this is just wake up options, right? So here, okay, you get stepped on, that's fine, that happens. So now we've rolled towards him. Now, I don't know what's going on that makes him do armor move here, but then when I do it, he's not doing armor move. But just wake up. You're +12. If you wake up correctly, you're going to get a whiff punish. But not all the time, right? If you wake up early enough, see? He whiffed again. And this is the importance of just being patient and playing back in neutral. Boop, boop. See? Look again, that's not 80 damage we missed out on because we decided to roll towards him. And I think do a wake-up attack? Is that what she did? I'm not sure what she did. I can't tell. I think she did a low wake-up attack. But again, just wake up. It's fine. The main problem here is that this Lidia is scared of the Jack hitting buttons. But by the Lidia being scared of hitting buttons, she's opening up so much more damage for the Jack to do, and she's restricting her ability to do damage, right? So So, and then that's another situation where you plus, and that's a matchup thing. You just got to learn that, but still, that's a nice wake-up strategy. There's a lot of things you got to think about with wake-up. The biggest thing, well, not maybe the biggest thing, but one of the biggest things I would recommend when going into practice mode is looking at your wake-up options in different situations. Or my replaying tips. That's what I meant. Because you get caught by so much in this game for trying to wake up, and you have so many different options that going into my replay and tips to get a handle on them is a really good idea. So, like, while I like the idea of the armor move here, again, it comes back to what's the problem? The problem is that she's doing this because she's scared. Now, after doing that, after whiffing that, I like the parry because the Jack has always been doing punch moves, right? So that's good to see that she's like adapting to what the Jack's doing. She's recognizing what the Jack is doing. Now here, after forward 2, we know that the Jack has been doing armor moves a lot. So if you watch my last video on how to utilize Lidia's stances, what's the move that beats armor moves the best? 1+2. So if the Jack is doing armor move all the time, and you know that because of how he's been playing in neutral, then do 1+2. And the thing about this as well, when she does the 2, what is the reason for doing the 2? Think about it for a second. What reason would you do the 2? You mainly do the 2 after the forward 2 if they duck, right? There are other things that'll beat, but it's mainly if they duck. But the Jack hasn't been indicating that he's going to duck ever. So the 2 is not going to be a good option there unless you hit with forward 2 to catch them mashing a button. So when you're having a deal with armor move like that, 1 is -12. So again, like if we go back to the thesis of when we were watching this, blocking, right? Like with most things here, if we just blocked after this, we get the stance mix up anyway, but now we've actually hit the button. And we've done damage, we've done a punish to them because they're -12 after this armor move. Anyway, back to replay. So, okay, let's see what happened here. So what happened here was this is again the problem that a lot of people have been telling me about. They have a problem with ducking, right? So maybe Lidia saw this as down back 2. And if she saw this as down back 2, then that's fair enough. But let's just assume she didn't. Let's assume that she was trying to block low. This is why you don't block low. Because people at these ranks are going to do the most dumbass things on the planet. Things that wouldn't even be conceivable at high ranks. But again, if we just didn't duck, look, we get a whiff punish. And that's another 80 damage. So again, it comes back to just you have to block. You have to block. What if you can sidestep? Yeah, you can sidestep this left, not right. But also, if you sidestep here, this is the power of sidestepping, right? If you wake up and you see something like this, and you think he's gonna do the low or the mid, but you don't know, that's what sidestepping's for. Assuming that you're closer, of course. Yeah, patience and punishing. But you can see how this Lidia player is screwing up. What this Lidia player is doing is she's so scared of the Jack that she's not being patient, and she's trying to hit buttons as her defense, and that is letting the Jack get a ton of damage. And look at all of this damage she's missing out. This is the 3rd time we've missed 80 damage because we've hit a button instead of holding back, right? Anyway, so like again, and this is more what we should be doing. So the problem here is just the lack of backdash, but remember, this is better than blocking low to try blocking a low and then getting hit by this, because then you lose 80 health. So even though you block this and you don't really get much off of it, let's just go back here real quick. So look, the Jack dropped the combo. We can do that running 1 from before, and look at that. See, look, patient, does armor move again, and then boom. Simple, right? Yeah, we can't even backdash out of that. Might not even be able to. Oh yeah, now we can sidestep right, okay. Oh, you can sidestep it right if you're right in his face. Weird. This is a weird quirk of the game. Kind of things happen. But again, we can just run in and then do whatever we want, right? Because even though we can't get a punish, he's -15. Anyway, enough on that point. have a combo with Lidia that I do that hits for 68 damage. Maybe I need a better combo, do you think? Honestly, it's fine. Because I'm never used 3-2 because I'm scared of using it. I'm a little baby. And I forget that 3-2 is the launch, so I just do hot kick, and my hot kick damage is about the same. And it works fine at God ranks. So if that's what you're comfortable with, just do what you're comfortable with. So, and then again, look, this was a not instance where, like in round 1, let me control the character. She wanted to do this, but remember the lesson from before. If he's going to do armor move, or anything, because you think he's gonna do that, and you do running 1 just block, and that's not 80 damage. But also, if we want to do that, right? So that, again, that's the power of running 3. That's why running 3 is such a good move. So we get spring kick here. And then you gotta be really careful when doing this, because this wasn't even natural. The Jack just got hit by the second hit, and that makes the third hit natural, but the third hit can be ducked under. It's not natural. Yeah, and then doing heat burst into heat smash is fine, especially at these levels. No, and I don't even think Jack can sidestep it. So here's something you could do here. That's a little bit more high level, but just something to think about. Because this whiffed, can you actually not punch parry this? You can't punch parry this. Huh? Really? You can armor through it, right? Like, this is a little bit more advanced because you can see that even I'm having issue with, like, avoiding that first hit. Yeah, you can't punch parry this. Huh? So what I was going to say is in strings like this where the move whiffs and you know it's going to be a punch you can parry, but that you can't punch parry that. That's not a punch for some reason. Okay. So let's see what else we got. We got spring kick. Again, that move can be done. So this is another thing. Now I'm going to control the Jack player. I don't actually know what his launcher is. I guess it's Wild Rising 1. Yeah. But you see how when you're throwing this out willy-nilly, you can easily die for it against someone that's a little bit better. And this is why I think a lot of people get stuck at purple ranks. Because they are used to using moves like this, like the proper block strings, and they can't be ducked. And then they start getting ducked, and then you die for doing it, and it's just a habit that you form. So you have to make sure that you have a reason for specifically doing the down 3-1-2. Do you think they're going to hit a button, or are you just throwing it out for the sake of throwing it out? Do you see that in Purple Ranks barbecue me? You just gotta practice and you'll get there. The 1-1 is an elbow. That's so stupid. Okay, so here, let's talk about this. So this is good defense, right? Ducking under the grab. But then what you do, just jab, right? Because the point here is even if you don't get the Wild Rising punish, you don't want to do anything that's really big. See, she tried doing down 4-2 here, and that would have worked if she did it immediately. But you don't have the reactions to be able to do this yet. So what's important is you do the easier, smaller thing to do the punish, and you get more damage and you don't put yourself at risk. So while the down 4-2 is a good idea, you aren't ready for that. And see, this is another thing, right? If we go back here, this is the second time that she's done this where she's thrown out 3. You gotta ask why you're doing this. The reason why she's doing this is because he throws out armor move all the time after the running 1. But because of the frames on this, if Jack had actually done armor move, I don't know what Jack's armor move is. That's one of them. We can do that. You can see how that would just go through. So even though the idea was, okay, well, my moves have, and this is a good idea. It's a good thing to think about. But even though the idea is, okay, my moves have been getting hit by armor move, my low's been whiffing, let me do 3-2 because I think he's going to hit a button. There are bad things you can do here for that, like, again, blocking. Like, she's trying to solve the problem by just running at the problem, and she ends up running into a brick wall and dying. But armor move would still beat it. And on top of that, if that gets ducked again, you die. So it's something to think about. Boop, boop, boop. So, okay, here's another thing, right? So at this range, what do we want to do? We want to hang out and play the neutral game. We have range, so we can do this right? If we see the Jack, because the Jack loves to press buttons, we can do that and just win. The Jack also hasn't been ducking the running one at all. So because we have heat, well, I died there. I should have pressed like 1 or something, but still. Right, we have running 1. Because the Jack hasn't been doing anything about this. This leaves us at the range now where armor won't go through it. It gives us enough plus frames that the unblock, it's the unblockable just goes through armor, right? But even if we don't want to do that, we can approach. You know, if we want to do the heat smash at some point, we can do it while we're closer. But doing the heat smash out here as if I'm a giant wall is bad. Why is it bad? Because Jack can just do rage on killer. Right? Okay, let's go back to the beginning here. So, down jab into down 3, 1, 2. I like that as an idea. So, this is what I'm talking about, right? So, she did exactly what I've been talking about this whole time. She waited, and she just did the wrong punish. But, if she just did the right punish, again, look at the damage. So she just did house sweep instead of doing a proper launch punish. But like, look how much damage she's getting and how much momentum that she has now because she just let this whiff. Even without the launcher, this is what happens at these ranks. Even without the launcher, if you're just hitting these fast buttons, then you're going to be doing wonders. Now again, Jack's been doing the armor move a lot, so what does the 2 accomplish? Not much. The Jack hasn't been ducking though, so what does the 1+2 accomplish? It kills him. Okay, and that's just, you have to react to that, right? Now, I like the While Rising 3 here. But he's also minus 33, which is a, you know, it's a matchup thing, right? You can micro dash into 3-2, but what can you do here? This is actually a good idea to practice this. I mean, forward 2 is going to be probably your easiest punish. I don't think there's anything else that would really be able to punish except the micro dash 3-2, which is just too difficult. Oh yeah, forward 3. That would be a punish. Yeah, there you go. Do forward 3 after this. See, even I'm learning things now. Forward 3. There you go. And again, it kills. And now what do we do here? So again, like he does this in the heat smash, but you gotta remember you only +1. So if you're going to do heat smash here, a really good thing to do most of the time. Oh God, I'm too early on the thing. A good thing to do most of the time that you see a lot at higher level against heat smash. Okay, hold on. This is too far back. Sidestep. Sidestep. Sidestep is very, very strong at high level. You see pretty much everyone doing this right after a heat burst sidestep because it evades the opponent's heat burst, it evades grabs, it evades a lot of moves. It's just really strong because you're +1. It's like sidestepping after a jab. And you keep all of the advantage because you're in heat. So instead of just doing heat smash where any 17 frame move or faster can interrupt it, because Lidia's is 18, just step block. Again, it comes back to being patient, right? Even if you want to avoid the grab because you're scared of the grab, sidestep does that. Replay feature in Tekken is best of any fighting game, hands down. Yeah, just don't tell any Guilty Gear players that because they're going to say how Plusod did it first. Forward 3 sometimes maybe has a place, kind of true. So yeah, again, this is what we're thinking about back when it comes to down 3. Why are we doing down 3, right? Why are we doing down 3, 1, 2? We're just doing it as a low, but it got us killed. Because now we've lost the momentum completely that we got after forward 1. And again, we're trying to we're running into a brick wall. We're trying to force ourselves to beat the armor move by hitting buttons when instead, as it's been demonstrated, you'd be better off just doing nothing. And so now the momentum is completely gone, right? So she tries to do down forward 2 here after this, but you get hit. So this is another case where you hold back. And this is why I say at these ranks, the biggest thing you can do is hold back. Even though we're -7 here, we can duck under this high if we get the read. But even if we block it, then what? We just deal with the mix-up. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not scary. But if you get too scared of it, that's when you die. Like again, after the heat dash here, what'd she do? she does down forward 2 again. And she gets counter hit. And again, why are we doing the low here? Why not throw in, well, I can't control it, but why not throw in the forward 2? Why not throw in a poke, a down forward 1? So down jab, and then that, which wasn't real, but. And then I like this. This is something that I've been doing a lot. So we do the heat engager. And so the great thing about this is when you do this obviously kills, right? But this also breaks through armor. And because the Jack's been doing armor so much, it's a really good option to not only beat the duck, but also give you plus frames for a free mix-up and kill them if it hits and go through the armor. It's a great option select, and the Jack hasn't been doing anything to prevent this. Now, she just does the wrong move here, down 3 instead of down 1+2 for the combo, but then, you know, heat smash on wake-up's good enough, it works. So this is why I say at red ranks, just don't hit buttons. Because the entire point this whole time, or even if you're purple rank, your red rank, orange rank, purple rank, whatever, just don't hit buttons. Right? This was a game I went into not knowing how either player played, but it ultimately, what it came down to was the Jack kept doing armor move. She could have sat back, done nothing but backdashed, and then she would have got 80 damage 4 or 5 times throughout the game. But instead what she was doing was she was scared of the Jack, and she was trying to force the Jack to not do armor move, or try to counter hit the Jack from doing, well, should say punish the Jack for doing armor move by doing like down 3, and it didn't work because the spacing was wrong, the timing was wrong, and ultimately she would have just got more damage if she let it whiff. By letting it whiff and blocking, you're doing the same thing as countering it with a move. Those are things I think you should keep in mind if you're red rank, or again, like anything below blue. Because this is a problem that people have up until blue, most of the time. It's not as bad the more ranks that you get, but you can clearly see, and of course this Lidia they're playing a secondary because it's Lidia, she's a brand new character. But these are fundamental things. This isn't a character thing, these are fundamental things. I mean, some of it's a character thing because like not knowing the spacing on after the pushback, I should say, on running 1, but still. So, anyway, I hope that's helpful to anyone who might be in lower ranks. So how do you get through all the players who just do string after string and don't give you any chance to move in low ranks? I find I do way better against battle rules than those in my own ranks orange. It's an interesting question, because if you're having that problem but you're doing better against battle rules, that means you're doing something right. Because it means that you know how to defend properly. You know how to play the neutral game. The problem that you have is going to be matchups more than anything. Oh God, I'm so tired, it's hard for me to think. But the problem a lot of people have is they end up doing worse against higher ranks. Why did I accept this game? They do worse against higher ranks because higher ranks shut down their aggression better. If you're doing better against higher ranks, that means your offense is good, your defense is pretty solid. It's just that you need work on matchups, probably. So a lot of the time what's going to end up happening is that if they're doing strings and you don't know what to do about it, a lot of those strings are going to have gaps in them, right? They're going to end at some point, or they're going to be 2 or 3 hit strings, and they're not going to be as oppressive as it feels like they are. But the reason why you're having problems with it is because you don't know the strings start and where they end. And you don't know where to actually interrupt them. You don't know where to duck the highs. You don't know how to do stuff like that against specific characters. So it's hard for me to say without a specific game. You know what? This could be a good lesson. If you want to give me your Tekken ID, I'll look at one of your replays and I'll just tell you. That might be easier than trying to explain it, because without more knowledge, it's hard for me to really say. And the less I have to play against Haran, the better. Yeah, let's take a look at it. If there's anything that we can talk about here. Trade mode in this game is amazing, but still leaves out some very critical things. Fundamentals, how to Korean backdash. The nice thing about the My Replay and tips with the replay takeover, though, is that you can figure that stuff out in an actual game situation. And that is extremely useful. Okay, so like this again hops back to a matchup thing, right? You'll see Kazu's do this a lot. You gotta low parry that. Really good if you low parry that, because Kazu's, especially below blue and even some in blue, will use this a lot. you know. And then this is a classic frame trap. So there was another replay I was watching of a random person, but this is a common thing that any character with a low launcher like this will do. Now, here's something to keep in mind. If you just did one jab, then you wouldn't get counter hit launched. It's because you did 1-2 specifically that you got counter hit launched. And a lot of the time, I'm not saying this is you, but for a lot of people, and again, this was a matchup thing. A lot of Kazuya's dudes, you have to duck that high. But for a lot of people, okay, there's actually a lot to talk about here. So let's go here. They're doing jabs like that because they don't want to deal with the opponent's pressure and they're scared to defend and block. You can't get into that habit because then stuff like that happens. Okay, so you're talking about wake-up options, right? So on the ground here, what are you doing when you're sitting on the ground waiting in this position? Well, you're waiting for the Kazuya to whiff something. You're waiting to be able to get off the ground. So when you see Kazuya do that, notice how this wake-up kick, this wake-up 4 is a punish, right? And even if it gets blocked, you're still safe. It's -9. So if you see Kazuya do that, that is your opportunity to get up. You can also obviously just wake up, but the problem with waking up backwards like this against Kazuya specifically is you're giving him the opportunity to wave dash and mix you again, even though this whiffed. So you're better off doing a wake-up kick. So rolling here, by staying on the ground, you're giving him an opportunity to mix you. So if I'm the Kazuya, right? Let me take over the Kazuya here just to show this. So by staying on the ground, what the hell is the input? I don't even know what the input is. Yeah, there you go. So you see how I can get forward here, right? So if you wake up and you block this, then it's fine. But because you're staying on the ground after this whiffs, you're just opening yourself up to getting hit by more things. So you gotta think, why am I staying on the ground? You're staying on the ground because you're trying to avoid the mix-up. If you avoid the mix-up, then you wake up and do a wake-up kick, and you do something to stop yourself from getting mixed again. And then doing the low. Now you're -1 here and doing the, so here's what you're better off doing, right? So this is a good opportunity because you traded. So if you're going to do something here, you can do while rising, oop, God, I need to, while rising 4, right? Because you're -1, so a lot of things are going to hit you out of anything that you do. So if you go and do something fast, doing while rising 4 to reset the neutral game, give yourself some plus strings. Because look, now you're +7. I mean, I'm playing instant replay, so you know. But now you're +7. There you go, right? The launcher is going to do a lot if it connects, but it's very unlikely for it to connect because they could do it down for 1, the jab, a lot of things to interrupt it. So you gotta think of frames. You have to think, like, again, why are you doing the while rising 2? You're doing the while rising 2 probably to kill them. But let's go like 5 steps before that. You're doing it because you want to do a mid that's going to hit them and interrupt them if they do a slow move. The Kazuya that did a slow move, so you're already there. You're going to hit them with a mid. The problem with while rising 2 specifically is it's -12, and if they block it, then you die, which isn't good. And it's so slow after being -1 that you're gonna end up getting hit by a lot of things. So if you're gonna do anything there, the while rising 4 is the least risky thing for you to do. Didn't know about that option. See, we're all learning here. We're all learning. So yeah, and then again, matchup thing, right? -12. This is a not common move you'll see Kazuya's use a lot. You have to punish this. You have to. And then again, matchup thing. You know, it's a high. And this is why it's important to go in my replay and tips and look back at these moments. Why did I get hit by this string, right? So you said before that you were having problems dealing with strings. And ultimately, what it comes down to, because you tried to do house sweep here because you thought the string ended, but it ends in this high. And that's just something that you gotta learn over time. You gotta learn character strings over time. It's not gonna come immediately. It's not even gonna come soon. That's why it takes so long to get good at Tekken. Right, so, and then we can look back at our previous example. So if we take over, right, he whiffs all of this, wake up kick. Just like before. Now when the combo drops here, the problem is if you tech roll, right, because you can't do a wake up kick here. I mean, you kinda can, but it's gonna be slow. But if you wait for him to do the full string, then you get wake up kick and you get the momentum back, right? So like the problem is with rolling again, you can see this right here. with rolling again after this option, you know, you block the down forward too, but this is a mix-up. What if he went low? If he went low, then you would have got hit by the low. So you're putting yourself in a non-mix-up situation when you should have the advantage. Yeah, and then this is another thing to work on is whiff punishment. Adds a lot to work on all at once. But if you see him doing a 2-hit string like this, look how much time I have to be able to do back one, right? And, you know, here's the odd thing, too, when you think about it. Even if you don't get the whiff punish, you do back one, you have plus strings. So that was a good punish. And then I like that option going low because he's not blocking low a lot. I like doing the low again because he's not blocking low a lot. And then 2-2, having an earth. Yeah, see, that was all good. That was all solid. All of that was solid. So your offense there was good. Your offense there was super good. And generally speaking, like there, Political Storm. That was brilliant. That was a brilliant time to use Political Storm. Why was this a brilliant time to use Political Storm? You could see him start twitching, and you know at this range that he likes to go in and do stuff like forward too. So throwing out Political Storm to cover all of that distance in neutral is a brilliant option, right? So that's another one. Just like down forward too, you gotta you have to be able to punish this, right? Like, it's launch punishable, but a lot of the time, and even myself, confuse it with down forward too, even if you just do a 12-frame punish. And especially because you're in heat, look how much damage you get off of that, off of the mix-up. And you know, Hell Sweep's fine, because it still does the exact same thing I just talked about. Like, look, you're getting the exact same damage, but it's not punished, right? So he could block it and then launch you for it. So it's something, well, actually it is a punish, isn't it? Yeah, you did it a little bit slow, but actually House Sweep is a punish, which is kind of funny. So you did punish it, so you know what, I can't even say anything. That was good. Yeah, so here's the thing with Lidia specifically for all of you Lidia players in here. When you do this, actually I'm gonna take over Kazuya. That's gonna be a better example. Oop. Yeah, so notice how you can interrupt this with anything. I can even interrupt this with, I mean, yeah, down forward too, right? Because you're doing that. But if I have the execution, which I don't because I'm not a Mishima player, you can punish this with electric as well. There you go. I finally did it as soon as I reset, but you can punish this with electric if you have the execution. There you go. Which just goes to show how much time you have to punish after the horse one. So you can't be hitting a button after this one gets blocked. You have to make a habit of hit confirming it, right? And then there's a knot with the whiff punish. That was a great whiff punish. So here's the thing with this now. Sorry, I wasn't in the replay. You have to hit confirm Political Storm. You can hit confirm the first 2 hits of Political Storm and then do the last hits. But if you just do the whole thing, it's launch punishable. That was a good block. And then I'm noticing with like the Wild Rising 1 and the Hell Sweep, your punishment is a little bit slow. And if you're slow on your punishment, that means you're not going to get the punish. You have to be more confident in your punishment. So again, I like what you're doing for offense here. There's thought behind it. You're not just mindlessly doing the unblockable or the mid. There's thought behind when you use the offense. Right? Like, doing the 2 makes a lot of sense because you get the plus frames. And if they duck the unblockable, you die. So there's no reason to do the unblockable. Like, look at this difference in health and momentum. So again, like string thing, right? But do the heat smash. And then if that hits, then it's great. If you block it, like if I block it here, look at all of that chip damage. You know, so it's not a big deal. But if you do the unblockable and the Kazuya ducks it, which they would have, then you would just die. Like, all of that momentum and all of that health would be gone. So there's the 1+2. And then, again, like Wild Rising 2, right? Another matchup thing. Boom, he's dead. And that wall splats as well. So in that case, the 2-2 is probably going to be even better than just doing the launch punish because of the wall splat. But, you know, again, it's just a lot of specific matchup things. Your offense was genuinely good. The problem that you have, like you said before, and the fact that you recognize it means that you're going to be able to improve it. But it's the wake-up options. It's a lot of, why am I doing this thing? That's what you have to think about. You're doing things because you have to do things, but you have to take a second and you have to think, why am I doing this? What's the point of me doing this? Like when I'm playing, all of that stuff comes automatic to me. The problem with playing a game like Tekken is that the mental stack causes you to not have enough time to think about why you're doing everything in every situation, or you overthink it and then you end up doing nothing, which can be just as bad. But a lot of the time, it's better to overthink it and do nothing, but then know what you should have done so you can improve on it next time, rather than doing something, not knowing why you're doing it in the moment, and then, like, even if you succeed, you're not going to improve, and then you might end up worse off the next game. So those are some things to keep in mind. But it's like, why am I staying on the ground instead of waking up? It's to avoid the mix-up. Okay, so what happens if I avoid the mix-up? Well, then you do a wake-up kick, right? Okay, grab. So, like, if we're taking that same logic, why am I doing the 3-1, right? Let's think about this more at a high level. I'm doing the 3-1 because I want the Paul to duck, like, there for the wall, right? I want to condition the Paul to duck so I can get 3-2-1 plus 2 at the wall. But the one time I tried doing 3-2-1 plus 2, it didn't work. And so it means that it's not always going to happen, right? People are going to have good reads, but as long as the intentions make sense, then that's what matters. It's like there, why did I do back 2 there? I wanted them to try whiff punishing or try approaching, and then I would have hit 4-2 for the heat engager, right? These are the things that I'm thinking about. Why did I do grab there? I wanted to switch position so his back's to the wall. Instead, it hit. So that's not great.